Good morning. I'm just leaving my house here at the residence condo here in Bangtao. It's a very nice condo actually. I'll show you around. Let me just flip this around. It's actually quite nice. It's popular with people who come and want to rent for 1 or 2 months at a time. A lot of Russians seem to rent here for some reason. But it is overpriced. So I would say for what you would have to pay to come here on holiday, you're probably better off just getting a nice hotel with the full services, because here the restaurant's not very good. Staff are great, but you know, it's just I'd say this is perfect if you're like in my situation where I was working here. So we've lived here actually just finishing up 2 years at this place. I'll show you our villa later, give you an idea. So we pay 40,000 baht a month, which is I believe about 12 or 1300 US, which is not too bad. We have a 2-bedroom pool villa. This is all a gated community really. You've got security, which in Thailand is pretty common, and Phuket is actually not a dangerous place at all. They're not interested in creating problems and hitting the tourism industry any harder than it's already been hit. So yeah, so this is for people, I guess, you know, there are some people who vlog and they talk about places that are 400 or 500 bucks a month and how you can live really cheap in Thailand. And I would say, you know, at least in places like this, like Phuket or some of these more touristy places, it's not as cheap as people might think it is. I mean, Thailand can be cheap, but if you want to live like a backpacker, sure, you know, it's really what you make of it. So I would say we probably our expenses are sort of in the middle. So it's about 1,200 bucks. You know, the one thing that's super expensive at this place is electricity. Like it's not uncommon for our bill to be 10 or 12,000 baht a month, which is like 300 or 400 US a month, which is crazy for basically just having a pool and a little bit of aircon. Yeah, so let's just go through here and I'll show you the main entrance here. Sorry, Kap. Sorry, Kap. Yeah, so this is taking us to the main entrance. This place actually has 2 entrances. One this is the main one, and the one down where I live. This really came in handy during the lockdown because they locked down Bangtao, which is the sub-district right here we're coming up to right now. But then there's another one over called Thailad where all the shopping is. And because of the way our condo was between 2 roads, I was able to go to both sides. So yeah, this is a place I've never actually used, but it does have a spa. Looks very nice. Let's see here. Looks very nice, but I think it's a bit of a rip-off. You could go down the road, get yourself a nice little massage in a normal shop for 400 baht, and here is like 700, I believe. Sorry, Cup. Okay, so this is the road that leads down towards the beach here. I don't know if you can see down there or not, if you can see it, but there's a pig walking across the road, which is very Bangtao. And then over here, I actually rent my car from this lady right here at the Phuket International Travel. She closed shop. She opened her shop for a month or 2 and then went off to France, and then the lockdowns kicked in when she was away. She got quarantined and everything when she got back, and she hasn't opened her shop since, so I don't know if she's planning to reopen or not, but you know, she's a great person to rent from. I have a Ford Focus from her, and I pay right now 8,000 a month, which is 250 bucks, and that's, you know, quite cheap. That includes the insurance and everything. Yeah, I decided in Thailand I wasn't gonna buy a car. it's not necessary. You you can get a lot of good deals on rentals and leases here, so it's not so bad. This is Amora. Never been in there, but it looks like it's might be a nice little resort. And this is the daily walk that I do, and walk down here, go to the beach. Look at that. It's my village just over there on the other side of that wall. I don't know if you can see the little triangular roofs over there, but that's where I live. And it's beautiful empty land. It's weird how Phuket is such a touristy place in many ways, but has so many pockets of just like countryside. And it makes it a very unique place, because you're in a place where I'd say it's probably the most touristy spot in Thailand outside of Bangkok. This is where everyone comes for the beaches. But yeah, it's got a lot. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that over there, but like sometimes over there you'll see like an ox inside the field. Not uncommon to see pigs walking up and down this little sidewalk here. That's a good place to be if you're ever coming to Phuket and maybe you are on a fixed income, or you want to save some money. I would recommend you consider places like Bangtao in the neighborhood, not at the hotels. And another popular area is called Rawai. And Rawai is at the very south of the island. So it's nice, but you're going to be far from the airport. So if you're someone who wants to travel back and forth somewhere, you're going to be an hour and a half from the airport down there. But yeah, so Bangtao is a really good spot to live long term, because you can get a nice little one-room place here for about $300-400 bucks a month. Be near the beach. It's very, very chilled. You know, you can just sit down and enjoy sunsets. You've got good shopping over at Boat Avenue, and there's a place called Porto de Phuket which just opened. They've got some really good shopping. So it's a good mix of simple That's a good mix of very simple and also like 5-star hotels everywhere. So you can see up there, for example, another building going in. Seems like it's just endless with the construction here. But this whole lockdown and the situation in Thailand has really had a huge impact on the economy here. It's devastated the tourism industry. Like I think it's around March, it was around the middle of March that things shut down, and they still haven't fully reopened. I think the last I heard is in a couple of days, on the 16th, I think Phuket Airport's going to open up again to domestic flights. Talking about when they're going to allow international ones. They might do it in July or August, so that'll be good. But I think it'll be a long time until you can really come here to travel, because they're going to start, I think, with these ideas of travel bubbles. So maybe have some countries like Vietnam in the neighborhood, or China, Korea, Japan, I believe, and allow people to travel that way for a while. And then as things calm down, if they calm down, there's not a second wave in October, then I think you'll see, you know, starting to open up again. But it might not be for another year until you can really start coming back here properly. Like as of right now, you can't even fly internationally or domestically, and they just opened up the bridges and boats and everything about a week or two ago. Before that, you couldn't even leave the island. And then this area here, Bangtao, was the last place that opened during the lockdown. So they had checkpoints just up at the end of that road, and then just down there was one checkpoint down to the left, another one to the right, and then up there. So if you lived here, you basically could only travel about 1 kilometer in any direction, and then that was it. You didn't have a lot of options. I've got a couple of buddies that I work with who live right in the heart of that area that got locked down, and Didn't really. It's funny because you would think with this place being in a lockdown and everything, and it was, you know, in the main news, every time they talk about new cases, they would talk about Bangtao as the hot zone for cases. And you'd think that they'd be strict here and you'd be getting people coming in testing, but very little actually went on. And there were, you could get beers on the beach and all of that if you wanted to, despite everything. So it's pretty lax, but it's a very, very unique area. It's got tourism, but it's not touristy, especially in the heart of Bangtao. Now if you go just a little bit further north, or just to the right next to here, where I'm going to go actually in the next video, up to Laguna, then you'll be at the 5-star hotels. The one hotel is, for me, is perfectly located. It's one called the Outrigger Hotel. It's a 5-star hotel, so if you were coming here, wanted to spend, maybe you've got your family with you, and you want to be able to get out at night and just some mellow, nothing partying, just sit down, maybe have a little bit of Mary Jane, then you can do that right next there to the little pigs area, which I'll show you. It's the coolest area to hang out at. It's a little, like, reminds me of what Thailand was like the very first time I came here, which was probably 1997. I was living in Korea, teaching English there at the time, and I think my first trip outside of Korea was around like January or something, so it would have been 1997, yeah, the start of the 1997. And Thailand was just, I think I went to some of the islands, like Koh Samui was rustic, and Koh Phangan was like dirt roads that you could barely get up. And now just to see how much it's developed, it's just crazy, you know, how fast it develops. And it's not been to their benefit to a large degree. Maybe they've made a lot of money financially, but long-term impact on the environment with the mass tourism here, it's just been crazy. Like there's a place not too far from here near Phi Phi Island called Maya Bay. It's, if you've ever seen the movie The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio, you would have seen that location. It's been closed now, I think, for a couple of years to tourists, and they're talking about closing it indefinitely. I wonder what's going on up there. There's some kind of sign. Looks like they're blocking the road. I hope they're not putting in checkpoints. Some more construction over here. A big building that looks a lot like a boat, and then a bunch of villas in there. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Put it up. Yeah, so this is a building I was looking at actually. I thought, oh, that would be a great place to live. It's right next to where I love to hang out. But I think it's the kind of place that you buy it for a couple $100,000 or whatever it is, and you could only stay in it part of the year, like for like 30 days or something, which is useless to me. So most of the workers here that you will see on these construction sites are from Myanmar. There's a huge, I think they have like over 1 million foreign workers working here, and I think almost all of them come from Myanmar. Sawadee. Good morning. Yeah, so I think they work hard. They don't get paid a whole lot, you know. There's actually a place just right across from our security guard. There's a little fence, and there's a whole community of migrant workers that live in there. And personally, I think the migrant workers, if there's ever going to be, like what happened in Singapore. Singapore, I thought they pretty much got rid of all the cases of everything, and then it went spreading through the migrant worker community. I wouldn't be surprised if the same happened here. Let's hope not. Okay, we're coming down now to my favorite part of the beach. So if you come here, you see, you come along this road and you just have to cut left just as you come around the turn here. So just a little bit down there, about 100 meters, there's a family mart, and then you just come up here. You'll see a sign for the Green Leaf and the local beach bar. The local beach bar is actually an Irish guy who owns it, and his name's Derek. Really nice guy. He's got a sports bar, then he expanded last year with like a little bamboo bar outside, or a tiki bar kind of bar, and he does quite well. He's got a very regular crowd, so if you're the kind of person who likes to come sit down at a bar, watch some sports, have conversations with a bunch of other people who like to just sit around and drink, maybe for you. Not my style. I like just sitting at the little bamboo. Look at this pig. Look at that guy. Hey buddy. Yeah, the pigs have been busy here since the tourism got cut off and this beach was closed for a long time. It seems like the pigs have multiplied. You'll see them with like a whole bunch of babies right now. I really don't know what they do with all the pigs though, because it doesn't look like they sell them. And if you see this whole white wall along here, this is a Muslim cemetery. So it seems kind of weird to me that you'd have a whole bunch of pigs hanging out right in front of the Muslim cemetery. And this cemetery runs right next to the beach, which I think is why you can have those bamboo bars there, because I don't think they can use the land for anything else. So yeah, it's a very interesting area. Like, it's almost wild, wild west over in Bangtao, in that they get away with doing stuff that you couldn't see in other parts of Phuket, like openly selling stuff on the beach. A lot of them were open during the lockdown, serving beers. You know, they seem to have their own rules. And maybe maybe they have a special relationship, I guess, with the government here. A small Muslim community that has probably been here for a long time, and they've done a pretty good job of sort of keeping their very simple lifestyle. A lot of people fishing, and but also adapting to the tourism industry that's growing up right around them. Like in this area, you've got tons and tons of 5-star hotels and just resorts and hotels everywhere. And then you get all the tourists that come in. The Chinese come in on the big tour buses. And it used to be this area, you'd get a lot more Scandinavian tourists in this area. I think a lot of them have moved on to places like Koh Lanta. But these days, when it's touristy, it's definitely like the Chinese and the Russians, usually in this area. But the thing that's nice about it is they usually stay at the 5-star hotels next door and don't really come anywhere near here, which to me is what I love about Thailand, this place, because it's like a very, very simple, rustic little beach bars. You can sit down, order a beer, get you something. I'll refer to something as bread. There's a place here, No1 Bar, and we ordered some special herbs, and on the bill it was written as bread, which I thought was perfect. There we go. So this is the little neighborhood here. Actually, I'll show you. And then you can see there's a few pigs. They've started putting them in pens, which I find is kind of strange, considering I think they can just still wander around. So yeah, we're kind of to the beach now. Some more pigs there. And there was where this little shop is here, right here. there was a big just wall that was about to be torn down, and a co-worker of mine named Sese painted a really amazing mural there. I don't know if you can see up here. I'll show another time maybe, but up here on that back wall he's got a big painting as well, right back there. The lady that he painted it for owns a bar on the beach. I haven't seen her for a while, but she owns a bar on the beach, and she kept asking him to paint Bob Marley, and he's just like, no, I'll paint my own thing, you know. It'll be a Rastafarian guy, but there's more than just Bob Marley. And she just kept saying Bob Marley. Speaking of Bob Marley, so you see that little beach right there. So that's what I like. This is my favorite place. This one here, number 1. And the guy that owns it, his name is Juan, so I think it's beautiful. He made a pun. The number 1 bar. I can see him in front of us here. Sorry, Kap. Morning. Come on.
You okay now?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. If you come to Bangtao, definitely check out the number 1 bar. Great little place to hang out. And any of these little bars, this one here, the Easy Bar, they just built that huge thing in the last couple of days. So that looks like it's going to be a nice place to hang out. They've got fancy little chairs there. And yeah, they're right next to the Easy Bar. I don't know what happened, but there was a husband and wife and they broke up and they split their land in half. It's looking like he might have got all the land back. So I'm going to stop this video here. And then I'm going to continue walking on down the beach, and we're going to see a little bit of Lion and maybe some Laguna. Stay safe. See you in the next video.